After I traveled through time and became the substitute of the bossy CEO's first love, I brainwashed the bossy CEO. Since you think I'm her, why don't you show me a picture of your abs first? You can't even seduce me, and you want to seduce her? I was transformed into the heroine of a tragic romance novel. In the article, the bossy CEO is the male protagonist, and I am the stand-in for the male protagonist's first love. I am treated without dignity by the bossy CEO, but I still devote myself to him wholeheartedly. I had to do his chores, make him soup, warm his bed, and endure the ridicule of his friends. In the end, the male protagonist's first love came back and bullied me desperately. In order to please her, he told me to get lost, and he finally felt remorseful after I died of cancer. I just lost my life, and he lost his love. I decided to take a path I had never imagined. The plot has just begun. Henry gave me $300,000 a month and asked me to be his substitute girlfriend. Henry's appearance is still very good, in line with all the bossy CEO's imagination. You will live here from now on, take care of my daily life, and wait for me to come back every day. But I still have classes. Then you should drop out of school. The original heroine dropped out of school and devoted herself to being his nanny. She was out of touch with society and had no way out. I naturally don't want to follow her old path. Sir, I asked around and found out that you chose me because I look like your first love, Julia. Since you love her so much and can't forget her, why would you find a replacement? Wouldn't that taint your love? The man who was about to push me down on the sofa was stunned for a moment. This is not your business. The best dowry for a man is loyalty, purity, and chastity. Julia just went abroad, she's not dead. If she comes back and finds out that you had a lover, she'll be so disappointed. Excuse me, in your situation you would be called a rotten cucumber, cheap and worthless. There was hope that we could get back together, but now that's gone. Henry was caught off guard by a course on men's ethics. Don't try to deceive her. There is no impenetrable wall in the world. I shook my index finger seriously. Besides, our dealings were financial. If we had a relationship, it would be illegal and would not be good for your personal image or the company's stock price. Then why did you take the money so quickly? He glanced at me indifferently, and out of caution, stood up and let me go. I want to save you. Since I have the face you've always dreamed of and can comfort your heart that has been broken in love, I have no choice but to take on this responsibility. Of course, I won't do it by selling my body. If you don't want to be my lover, how are you going to comfort me? I can help you practice how to pursue her. I changed my sitting position. The original work said that when I looked up at her, I looked especially like her. Don't think of me as a stand-in. You have to have faith. From now on, I am Julia. Imagine if she were here now, what would you do? Henry smoked a cigarette, his eyes a little blurry. She has never been here. Haha, useless simp man. Look, I'm here now. I smiled gently. What are you going to do, huh? Henry was mesmerized by my appearance under the dim light and kissed me from the side of my face. I slapped him away. Kissing a girl without her permission is indecent assault. My eyes became sharp and my chin raised slightly. Go to the bathroom, wet your shirt and show your abs. Henry was still reeling from the slap he had just received, shock written all over his face. I forcefully pulled him up, pushed him into the bathroom, and took a picture of his abdominal muscles. I groomed him carefully, even to the point where one button of his shirt was buttoned wrong. His mermaid line extended under his black belt, and he wore trousers and black leather shoes, looking both abstinent and sexy. Julia said it was good after seeing it. I threw the phone to him. Send it to her. Henry's eyes wandered. I can't do it. You've never chased a girl? You've never had a normal relationship? Henry's eyes flashed with embarrassment and annoyance. I licked my lips. Then let me be your personal love partner, simulating Julia's interactions with you and telling you how to please girls more. You have developed dating skills and gained dating experience. You won't be so helpless when you confess your love to Julia next time. Besides, our contract is purely commercial in nature. There is no emotion involved, and there will be no physical contact. It will not affect your innocence. Henry thought about it and said, okay. Then I want to go back now, you drive me. What? I looked at my watch and said, it's already 11 o'clock. It's too late. It's not safe for a girl to go home. You have to take me home. Besides, I'm Julia now. You can't use the driver to perfunctorily treat me like that. Henry stared at my face for a long time, then finally took the car keys and took me back to school. I changed my WeChat account to the same as Julia's and sent him a message, "You were very good today. Henry, good night. Scumbags are spoiled. You give everything for him and sacrifice your feelings for him, but he thinks you are cheap. You set up the rules of the game that are beneficial to you, establish the rules, and then make money from him calmly, and he will be very polite. Even thank you." The next day, I took the initiative to send him a good morning message, and Henry replied with a good morning message, saying we would meet at noon. I dressed myself up and got into his Bentley on time. You performed well today. You replied to WeChat messages promptly, took the initiative to invite people out, and drove very respectfully to me, but... I looked at him with a smile. What is it? You need to get your hair trimmed. I looked at him long enough and then politely looked away. Henry felt the female gaze for the first time and touched his hair in panic. He then kept glancing at the rearview mirror to see if there was anything wrong with his hairstyle. In fact, gaze is a kind of power. Men are always looking at women, and their eyes set rules for women, such as what is beautiful and what is sexy. I criticized Henry without restraint just to show him who was the boss between us. Later at the dinner table, I also maintained this state. The restaurant is great, the food is delicious, and you're a very gentleman, but I feel like you're not very good at making girls happy. Are you also so quiet when you're with Julia? Henry coughed a little nervously. I don't really know what to talk to girls about. Praise me. I leaned forward and looked him in the eyes. He was a little confused, his face slightly flushed. You look very beautiful today. Continue. He turned his head and said, you are dressed very simply and innocently. It adds a little bit of detail, which is better than general praise. What else? He held it in for a long time. Your lipstick color is very beautiful. I saw that he couldn't hold it in any longer, so I lowered my head while cutting the steak and asked, are you busy this morning? Well enough. Tell me something about the company. I really want to know. I have never met any other CEOs, and I only know you. I held my chin and looked into his eyes with great sincerity. Henry started talking about his work, and I was responsible for guiding and praising him. Before I knew it, he had told me a lot. Finally, I gave him some advice. See? You should guide the other person to talk about his own story, and then keep praising him. Then he will be willing to share with you and enhance mutual understanding. Henry drew inferences from his experience. So what were you doing this morning? I miss you, I said without thinking. His eyes flickered, and he turned his head away to cover up, his handsome face slightly red. I looked away and cut my steak, a little trick. I was basically satisfied with this date. In the original work, my stand-in had never dated him and wasn't even worthy of having a proper meal with him. This is not a question of whether he loves me or not, but whether I still have the basic dignity of a human being in his heart and whether I deserve to be taken seriously. Thinking of this, I asked him to carry my bag, and implicitly accused him of being tactless. It looks nice to see a CEO carrying my canvas bag. After returning to the dormitory, Lucy threw a glass of water in my face. Carlin, I heard that you hooked up with my brother. You are so shameless. Lucy is Henry's sister. Behind every heroine of a tragic romance novel, there is a horrible sister-in-law who joins her brother in mistreating her. Julia is their childhood friend, and I am not on the same level as them. She felt that I was marrying above her status, and in the original book she would beat, scold, and humiliate me at every turn. Do you think it's useful that you look like Julia? If you're a stand-in, you'll be a stand-in forever. I wiped the water off my face and called Henry. He didn't cry or make a fuss. I asked him if he was free in the evening. Yes. Where do you want to eat? It's not sincere to go to a restaurant. I licked the water on my lips and said in front of Lucy, I'll go to your house tonight and you can cook for me. After saying that, I hung up the phone. Lucy's defenses were broken, and she screamed like a boiling kettle. How could my brother allow you to go to his house and cook for you? Is he crazy? What gives you the right? I raised the corner of my lips. Guess? Bitch, do you believe that I can make you unable to graduate with just one phone call? Henry's family is indeed powerful. Soon I was called by my instructor, who criticized my work style in a righteous manner. You came to school to study, but you're out there seducing rich guys, making a big fuss. Luxury cars come and go all day long, are you still focused on your studies? In the original work, the tutor helped Lucy to trouble the original owner, ruining her reputation so badly that she had to drop out of school and became Henry's canary. Did I fail to complete the project, or did I fail to record the data? Which experiment did I not do until late at night? I questioned him. You are accusing me of such a big crime. Do you like to flatter the Henry family so much? The supervisor holds the life and death of every student in his or her hands. He had never been treated like this before, so he was so angry that he kicked me out of the laboratory. It was late autumn and the weather was very cold. I was standing in the corridor when I suddenly realized that my clothes were still wet. The associate professor next door took pity on me, led me into his office, and found me some clean clothes, change into them. I looked at her gentle and plain face, and vaguely remembered that her name was Diana, and she was one of the few supporting characters in the original work who showed kindness to the heroine. Unfortunately, she didn't appear in many scenes. All we know is that she has been stuck at the title of associate professor and couldn't be promoted. If you offend your supervisor, you may not be able to get your degree certificate. She made me a cup of hot milk tea. What's the point of getting it? Graduates are still unemployed. It's hard to find a job these days. Besides, I'm a girl. If I really want to develop in the academic circle, you know the taste of it best, Teacher Diana. I held my coffee and looked at her. Teacher Diana, I have a very promising project on hand, and the clients are already there. Are you interested in learning more about it? In the evening, Henry drove to pick me up. Did Lucy bully you? Lucy likes to call and complain, and say bad things about me in front of Henry. My explanation is a cover-up, and a cover-up is the truth, which causes Henry to hate me and look down on me even more. She relies on you a lot. Seeing that you take good care of me, she can't bear to leave you as her brother. It's okay. But... I paused at the right moment. But what? Lucy wanted to develop in the entertainment industry. She didn't study hard and auditioned everywhere. She used to have good grades. These few words made Henry frown. In the original work, Lucy actually became a movie queen later on. Even with her status, she is still a top star and can earn $2.8 million a day. How come all the good things happen to your Henry family? I was determined to change her fate. Most of the students in our class with a family background like hers went abroad for further studies. You're right. Henry agreed. Send her abroad quickly to study for 3 or 4 years. When she comes back, she will be too old and the entertainment industry will not have room for her. We went to the supermarket and then returned to Henry's suburban villa. Girls nowadays are very delicate, especially Julia. You definitely didn't win her over just to have her cook for you, right? I'll ask Auntie when the time comes. Henry said naturally. I sneered, now you know to ask your aunt for help. Why did I spend 3 years making soup for you in the original novel? Men who can cook are a big plus, and they are generally considered to be family-oriented and romantic. You are at a disadvantage in this area because you rarely have a lot of time to spend with your family due to work. So I suggest you cook more often. Henry took off his suit and put on an apron over his white shirt. I did this when I was studying abroad, but now I'm not good at it. I can't wait any longer. Let me test your craftsmanship. I sat on a high stool at the bar, spun lazily with my chin in my hand, watching him busying around inside. Finally, it was his turn to cook for me. Henry once studied abroad, and he's surprisingly good at cooking Western food. I praised him, it's delicious and tasty. There's no problem. You just need to find out what Julia likes to eat and cater to her preferences. She likes spicy food and strong flavors. Henry's eyes were filled with nostalgia. In the original work, I cooked for him for 3 years, but he couldn't remember my taste. As soon as the male protagonist's first love came back, he ordered boiled fish for me, who had dysmenorrhea, to eat together. It can be seen that either his memory is bad or he just doesn't pay attention to me. That's right, who would remember what a girl who's paying for you likes to eat? I stirred the chicken and mushroom soup. This is not very healthy. You should pay more attention to the nutritional balance. You put a lot of cream and cheese in your dishes. Is your blood lipid level still normal? Ah? Henry was stunned. I see that you are very busy at work and don't have much time for exercise. You eat a lot of meat and drink a lot of alcohol. How was your last physical examination report? Henry said seriously, it's okay. You are almost 30, you are not young anymore, you need to take care of yourself. Henry was stunned. It seemed that he had never thought that he would be called old by a pure female college student like me. But now biotechnology is very advanced, and it can keep you in the physiological state of a 25-year-old. Recently, it has become popular among some wealthy people to have a dedicated private doctor team and use various supplements and drugs to maintain energy. A professor in our school has introduced this project. Henry wasn't interested at first, but I knew all his problems: poor sleep, stomach problems, allergies. I kept brainwashing him, saying that he looked like he had dark circles under his eyes, looked listless, and had wrinkles around his eyes, which showed that he had dampness in his body. Then when the time was right, I recommended Diana to him. Diana was doing drug research and prescribed some supplements for him to take when he got home. He felt fine, and Diana set him up with a personal team of doctors and nutritionists who monitored his physical and mental state every day and gave him medicine. I was not idle either. I ran around to register a company, registered it in our college, obtained a policy subsidy for college students' entrepreneurship, and got various licenses approved with the support of the school. By the time Henry and Diana signed the contract, I was already the co-founder of Cyberbio. I do feel a lot better recently. My sleep quality is very good, and I feel energetic when I wake up during the day. With my improved concentration, it is easier for me to handle work, and I can also squeeze out time for exercise every day. Henry looked at me radiantly. I smiled at him. I told you a long time ago that Professor Diana is a professional. So how much is the exact cost? Henry looked at her. 2 million. Diana raised her lips slowly. 2 million a year. After signing the first deal, Diana and I made a date at a restaurant to celebrate. Your boss was very angry when he found out you and I were in partnership, Diana told me. We graduate students call our supervisors boss. Is there such a thing? He called me today and asked me to come over to continue my lessons. When my mentor heard that I had started a business and signed a big contract with Henry's family, his attitude towards me changed 180 degrees. He was more enthusiastic and easy to talk to than ever before, and he asked me in various ways why I didn't look for him. I told him directly, when starting a business, I only consider partnering with girls. Girls are careful, cautious, have high emotional intelligence, and strong empathy. My tutor once said in front of me that he would not recruit girls in the next class, because girls would seduce rich men anyway, so he would only recruit boys. Diana asked again, so are you going to go back? I shook my head. After all, going to school is for work. I already have a job and a company to manage. I told him to cancel my student status. I don't care. Diana was slightly surprised, then smiled. Even if he agrees, the school won't agree. The school will still ask you to give a speech as an outstanding graduate. I also wish you a quick promotion to professor. We clinked our glasses. In fact, what I did was no different from the original work. I took good care of Henry, made him feel comfortable both physically and mentally, and let him have no worries. The difference is that I personally prepared the original recipe. Now I have found a professional team to do it, and I even made some money from them in the middle. By the way, I became a star in the college, and I am no longer the tragic heroine who dropped out of school midway. Motherly efforts and sacrifices are worthless, and a man will not love you for this. Because emotions are mixed in, men still think that this is their own charm, that they are worthy, and that you are stupid and naive. I never understand why the heroines in tragic romance novels always take care of men. This is also considered a common female virtue. But if this is really a virtue, why don't men practice it themselves? Why don't men be good wives and supporters to their women, but instead work hard to build their careers, and then keep mistresses outside when they have money? I admire housewives, but I can't do it. I don't like taking care of people, especially men. What does men have to do with me? My time is also precious, so I choose to be like them, loving money, power, and young beauty. As the cover of the Neapolitan Quartet says, my whole life has been a petty struggle to rise in social status. When 1 month was up, Henry sent me money, but I refused. I'm just kidding, sir, you're Lucy's brother. I think you're a nice person and I just want to be friends with you. How could I really want your money? The original heroine can pledge herself to be your lover for this price, without any regrets, and will not take your property with her when she leaves. She has the reputation of being a bitch, but there is no benefit at all. I am different. I make money from you, and I have to use it in a fair and honest way to clear myself from the identity of your substitute lover. I exchanged the 300,000 yuan he gave me for a Harley motorcycle and gave it back to him. He was extremely surprised and happy like a child, with sparkling eyes when he looked at me. The next day, I received a bunch of luxury goods. Dior's new bags, Chanel's necklaces, and Bulgari's bracelets. That's good. It's worth my while to teach him that a man should be generous. The original heroine was pure and simple, in other words, she didn't spend much money. Now, he knows to spend money on me. In the vulgar game of social status, everyone has his or her own price tag. Who you are determines the size of the gifts you deserve and the treatment you receive. I'm giving you a gift because you're a big customer of ours. I sent him a voice message on WeChat. What are you doing? Congratulations on your entrepreneurial success. Henry's voice was no longer as cold as it had been at the beginning. Then I'll take you to try out the new car this weekend. When I accompanied him for car racing, I met his friends. Hey, who is this? Your little lover? She looks so much like Julia. Henry was visibly embarrassed. I calmly took out my business card from my bag and handed it to him. I'm Carlin from Cyberbio. What's your name? Henry glanced at the title of founder on the business card and took the initiative to shake my hand. Justin. Oh, this is another stupid supporting actor, Henry's childhood friend. He felt sorry for Henry and Julia, and thought Carlin took advantage of the situation and was disgusting. He found everything about her unpleasant and thought she was not worthy of being his good friend. At the same time, she felt that since Carlin was a maid, anything that happened to Henry was her fault, and he ordered her around without any dignity. They were out drinking and got drunk, and they still called her to ask her to pick someone up. When did you start playing with cars? Justin asked Henry. Henry glanced at me and said, Carlin gave me a Harley. Yes, it's your money anyway. I complained in my heart, smiling demurely. He doesn't have much leisure and entertainment. He's always working. I think he's a bit too tense. I hope he can try more fast and furious things. Justin exclaimed, wow, why don't I have a beautiful woman like this to give me a car? Henry, you are so lucky, this is a rich woman. I pretended to be surprised, sir, and I don't have that kind of relationship, we just have business dealings. Justin was still slyly moving between us. What's your business? Can I join? High-end medical care. I smiled. If Justin is interested, I'll ask my assistant to send you the company profile and project introduction later. After hearing what the assistant said, Justin finally believed it and put away the cynicism on his face. He can order Henry's lover around and be rude because the lover is a plaything. It's different for a young founder who has no emotional entanglements and has business dealings. They are all mixed up in society, and the men are very good at judging the situation by the situation. Each of them brought a female companion. I dress fashionably and wear luxury goods just like them, but there is a clear distinction between us. The most obvious thing was that Justin toasted me with a drink during dinner. I don't drink. I declined. I can drink, 1 bottle is no big deal, but I won't drink a drop of alcohol for men, they have nothing to do with me. Let me do it. Henry stood up, took his cup, and drank it all in one gulp amid the crowd's cheers. Such a gentleman. You taught well. Henry was also very happy. I sat next to him and he felt very proud. After I got back, I really gave Justin the project book and company profile. Sir is also using this package. You can learn more about it and ask him about his usage. Justin is a very lustful person. I tactfully told him that we could guarantee that he would have a great sex experience. He was very happy and signed the contract with me. I went out with Henry's friends a few times and turned them all into my clients. This is also something I cannot understand about the heroine of the tragic romance novel. She has access to the resources of the upper class, but she does nothing and seems to think about nothing except being abused. Anyway, Everyone thinks you're after men's money, so why don't you just make some of their money? Why are you so polite? At the end of the year, I bought a large flat in the city center as a dividend. I specially invited Henry to come over for dinner and showed him around. You can afford a property in a wealthy area right after graduation. You must be the best in your class. Henry's eyes were full of approval. I smiled but said nothing. How do I know this house is good? Wasn't it him who chose it? Around this time in the original work, Henry settled Carlin here. 3 years later, the male protagonist's first love came back, and Carlin left with a suitcase. She left the mansion with only her dead love in her heart. Why doesn't she think about the 3 years of youth that have passed? At least ask him for a house. I threw the property deed on the coffee table and looked down at the splendid river view through the floor-to-ceiling windows. At sunset, Henry even toasted me with a glass of champagne. At the beginning of the spring, I was busy soliciting investments and met Henry's mother at a dinner party at his house. This must be Miss Carlin, right? I've always heard Henry talking about you and wanted to meet you, but couldn't make an appointment. The lady, who was dressed in jewels, spoke to me in a friendly manner. I also said in a friendly manner, my fault, I was supposed to visit you last week, Booty have accepted a mission and cannot get away. She won the title of the city's outstanding youth representative and went to the city for a meeting. Henry stood aside and introduced her to his mother. Henry's mother's eyes widened slightly. Henry, where did you meet such an outstanding girl? She's amazing and looks so young. I'm Lucy's roommate. Henry started talking to me and said that it was because I looked a lot like an old friend of his that made him feel very close to me. As I said that, I looked at Henry. Henry coughed twice quickly and winked at his mother. Henry's mother smiled and said, "Oh, you mean Julia." Julia was our former neighbor. She was too eccentric and self-centered, and not as stable as you. You two have similar features, but when it comes to women, it's all about temperament. I remembered that in the original novel, Henry's mother acted condescending every time she saw me and even paid me to leave her son, which I found very funny. Julia was originally the perfect daughter-in-law in her mind, and I, a fake, made her feel cheap. In the early days, he was determined to get rid of me, but later, when he couldn't get rid of me, he started to find fault with me every day. He would complain that I put too much salt in my cooking and it was unhealthy, or that I didn't use natural laundry detergent when washing his clothes, which caused him to have an allergy. Anyway, I am Henry's stepmother and she is his biological mother. The biological mother felt that the stepmother did not serve her well enough and she wished she could do it herself. Every time I go back to Henry's family estate, I feel like a servant. In such a big family, I have to look at her expression before eating 2 prunes. It's more like brainwashing than stinginess. It madly degrades your dignity and makes you think you don't deserve it. At this moment, Henry's mother took my hand affectionately and took me aside. It turned out that she was so anxious to find me because Henry introduced biotechnology to her. She is already in her 50s and her pursuit of delaying aging is even more urgent. We mainly deal with young high-net-worth clients, because they are young and less likely to get into trouble. But Henry and I are very good friends. If you have any needs in this regard, I will definitely try my best to meet them. It would be a waste not to make money that comes right to your door. But I can't guarantee such good results, and daily care can't replace the hospital. Normally, she would just take care of herself, but if something happened, she would be rushed to the hospital, and I would buy her a few more insurance policies. I already have a complete custom solution in mind. Henry's mother said enthusiastically, "It's okay, Auntie wants to try it." What can I say? Of course I signed the contract, and because she was too old, I doubled the price and made $4 million a year. I forgot to mention that in the original work, Carlin not only serves Henry, but also Henry's mother. She cooks delicious food for her in various ways and sends her skincare products every time she visits. The treatment she received was that she was not allowed to go to the 2nd floor of the manor. There was a spare room for Julia in Henry's family estate, but Carlin couldn't stay there for a night. During their first spring festival together, Carlin was busy in the kitchen until midnight. Finally, his mother told Henry that he was drunk and fell asleep, and asked her to clean up and go back. She walked alone in the sound of the New Year's bell and in the white snow. That night, Henry's mother invited me to stay. I followed her upstairs and took a look at the legendary second floor. How about it? This room is specially prepared for you. I examined it carefully until the lady looked nervous. Forget it, Auntie, I'll go back. I turned around and walked away with my bag, very disappointed. Her face turned pale in an instant. I was not satisfied with her room and felt it was not worthy of me. And I will never tell her what I am dissatisfied with in my life. She had to guess cautiously, just like Carlin in the original work had to guess her thoughts. After some time, Henry's mother came to see me again. I told my secretary, tell her I'm in a meeting and take her to the reception room to wait. Okay. I didn't have any bad intentions, I just ignored her and didn't want to run towards her like a dog when she barked. The original work had very dramatic plots involving her. I work so hard because I hope that when they come to me to compete with females, they can at least beat the security guards and secretaries. Even if she wants to give me 10 million to let me leave her son, I have to have a legal officer standing next to me. This way the picture will be much better and it fits my style and aesthetics. I played with my phone for a while and went out to look for her. Hello, Auntie, the meeting just ended. Henry's mother held a stew pot in her hand. I heard that you were prone to stomachaches, so I made you some bird's nest soup to nourish your chi and blood. You're so polite. What's the matter? Henry and Lucy had a fight. She sighed. Lucy wanted to enter the entertainment industry and become a female star, while Henry was determined to send her abroad to study. Yes, I understand that. Not only was I clear about it, but I was also the one who initially suggested to Henry that Lucy be sent abroad, and I also contributed a lot afterwards. Henry, really, why does he have to force me into this? There's nothing wrong with being a female celebrity. The relationship between men and women in the entertainment industry is quite chaotic. Henry's mother changed her story. Lucy had argued with her brother several times, but Henry refused to give in. She was supposed to fly to the United States today, but she ran away from home. We haven't been able to contact her yet. You are her roommate, do you know where this child ran off to? I spun the pen. Auntie, don't worry, I'll try to contact her. I turned around and asked my former roommate where Lucy was now. In the original work, they often joined Lucy in targeting me because I seduced someone's brother and was shameless enough to be someone's lover. After I traveled through time, the situation got much better. I started a company with Professor Diana, and Diana was promoted to full professor this year, but they had a hard time finding jobs after graduation. I hired 2 of them who came from ordinary families and became their boss. They call me boss now. I sent them a message and they quickly forwarded me Lucy's location. I drove over and saw Lucy crying in the hotel. Don't think I don't know. It was you, a bitch, who instigated my brother. I just said it casually. How do I know he would take it to heart? I said innocently. Just because we live in the same dorm, he always compares me with you. Lucy cried and wiped her tears, her makeup was ruined. What can we compare? How can you compare yourself with me? In my last year of college, you were fighting with other women in a man's bed, while I was doing business in the capital circle. I leaned back on the sofa, crossed my legs, and brainwashed her like crazy. What are you thinking now? Are you determined to enter the entertainment industry? I won't go to school. What's the point of studying? You dropped out of school. I poured myself a cup of tea. I got my diploma and gave a valedictorian speech. I'm going to act anyway. Lucy's determination left me speechless. She made me start to believe in fate. Maybe she is really destined to be a movie queen. I rolled my eyes and said, so you're not going back to the family? Are you going to work out there on your own? I'm about to join the crew to shoot a short drama, and the agent from Huawei Entertainment has contacted me. I sneered. The boss of Huawei Entertainment is their main star. You have no resources and no background. You look like a main star. How can they make you famous? You will be inferior to others all your life. Besides, Huawei Entertainment has many drinking parties. Can you be so cruel as to sleep with various investors and bosses? Lucy choked on me. This young lady, although she did bad things in school, but without her brother, she was nothing, just a little girl without any social experience. I thought about it and said, I'll go back and talk to your brother about starting a company for you. Will he be willing? If he doesn't open it, I'll open it for you. I snorted coldly and left under Lucy's odd eyes. When I got to Henry's place, I changed my words. She is determined to enter the entertainment industry. That circle is very chaotic. Henry smoked madly. How about this? I'll set up a company for her and find an agent to manage her. Instead of letting her work for someone else, it's better to follow her, watch her, and manage her. Henry looked at me with gratitude and said, "You do this, and I'll give you money." How much money can this make? If you get involved in the entertainment industry, people will laugh at you. I will do it myself. I am really interested in this. Capital also has a contempt chain, and Big Capital disdains the entertainment industry. I don't care about his reputation, I just don't want him to interfere. I want to keep Lucy in my own hands. Finally, with my efforts, I successfully brought Lucy back to Henry's family. Henry's mother burst into tears. "Carlin, you are so kind, thank you." She held Lucy and bowed to me. "Thanks to Carlin for cleaning up the mess for you. Don't be disrespectful to her again." Henry looked at his sister coldly. Of course Lucy would never be disrespectful to me. Because I set up a company, signed her, and became her boss. I privately told the agent I hired, "Just take her with you, don't worry too much. She's a rich second-generation girl, and her family hopes she'll get married soon. But Lucy is really awesome." Even though I was doing that to her behind her back, she still managed to star in 2 famous dramas in the second year. I accepted it. I split the profit with her 80:20, and all the money went into my pocket. I hate Lucy, but I can't go against money, it's immoral. So I asked her agent to fill her schedule, and she worked her ass off acting and appearing on variety shows, earning me tens of millions every month. I used her name to raise funds in the market and recruited a group of young men to join the company. Then I developed a good habit of going to the entertainment company whenever I felt stressed. Seeing a group of young brothers vying to call me sister and trying to sleep with me openly or secretly, I feel better. Thank you, Lucy. Just when my career was booming, Henry called me one day and asked me to go traveling. Their company organizes a funded tour every year. We've gotten along pretty well over the past few years, and he always asks me to go with him. This wasn't the first time this happened, so I didn't suspect anything and just cleaned up and left. In fact, I don't hate him that much now. After all, he was my first pot of gold. Not only did he give me money, he also brought his whole family and friends to give me money. He is not a scumbag, he is God. Another big reason why I have a good relationship with him is that I don't have any emotional entanglement with him now. We are just ordinary business friends. Chat whenever you want, drink tea, exchange information, and see what projects you can invest in to make money. This is generally how a boss's life is. So I don't have high requirements for Henry. As long as he doesn't ask me to do the laundry, cook or make soup, I can get along with him peacefully and in a very friendly way. But there are unexpected events. I drove to the hotel he booked and found that the lawn was covered with pink roses. It's not just a few bunches of fresh flowers, but a set designed at great expense. The main sculpture is a giant rose over 30 meters long, creating a very dreamy atmosphere. He stood below with a bouquet of pearly roses. Then our friends in the circle, Henry's mother Lucy, and the employees of their company, everyone dressed up and looked at me with expectation. Friends, I thought I was going to the beach, so I wore a pair of flip-flops and didn't even wear any nail polish. Henry, who was dressed up and had his hair done perfectly, came forward holding flowers. "Carlin, I used to be not good at talking to girls, and I knew nothing about love. You are the first girl who is willing to teach me and guide me patiently. I never thought that I would have so much to talk about with a girl. I am always very happy to be with you. Now I want to continue this happiness. Will you marry me?" As he said that, he knelt on one knee and took out the diamond ring. I stood there in a daze. In that atmosphere, everyone was cheering and the cameras were pointed at me. But the only thing I know is that I don't fucking want to get married, and if I have to get married, it's not to Henry. So I grabbed his hand and shook it madly. "Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir, for giving me this honor. We were just partners before, but now you want to be my life partner. This is so sudden that I am speechless and confused. This case is too big. You are attacking me by surprise, and I am not prepared. Let's sit down inside and talk. It's getting late. You should go inside to eat. Has the food been served?" Henry's face was obviously not looking good, and the others also understood that the proposal would not go so smoothly. But anyway, I had given him enough leverage, and we didn't break up, so they ate and drank as usual on their funded trip, and happily flocked to the hotel restaurant. Henry found it a little difficult to face me, so he pretended to be a proper groom and went over to entertain the guests. Justin came over and looked like he was going to scold me. I took the initiative to say something cold. What does Henry mean? He was very disrespectful to me today. Justin was confused. Huh? How come he doesn't give you face? He didn't even inform me about the proposal. The photographer was dressed more respectably than me. I looked different standing in this setting. Just because of this? Justin was speechless. He spent a month preparing for the proposal, spent more than $3 million running around, and specifically asked us not to let the news leak out. I'm not his girlfriend, why is he proposing to me? I said coldly. Isn't it because your entertainment company has a lot of puppies? Is he anxious? He was so anxious that he planned a grand proposal? Didn't he think about being rejected? He was careless and his plan was very hasty. I thought he was a very stable person, but I didn't expect. I shook my head, too reckless and impulsive. When Justin heard me scolding Henry in return, he completely couldn't follow my logic. After a while, he responded with a dull look in his eyes, and continued, how embarrassed he would be if you rejected him in public. One good thing about me is that I never waste my time. This is not my fault, it's entirely his own problem. First of all, he should have asked me privately, then if I rejected him, he would just be sad, not embarrassed. Secondly, he didn't make a plan on how to save face after being rejected. He brought the embarrassment upon himself. But he dared to do this, which means he is sure of his victory over me. He thinks from the bottom of his heart that as long as he asks, I will agree to him. What does he think of me, huh? Does he look down on me and treat me as a plaything? Justin saw that I was getting angrier and angrier, so he quickly comforted me. Of course not. How could that be? You misunderstood him. He would only do this if he really likes you. Then he has very low emotional intelligence. I won't accept any moral blackmail. Even if God came today, this mistake is all Henry's. I have given him enough face. Seeing how tough I was, Justin was completely brainwashed by me. He has low emotional intelligence, you should be more tolerant of him. You have been together for so many years, we have seen how he treats you, you should just settle down with him as soon as possible. You know more about our relationship than I do? If you love him so much, then why don't you marry him? We already have the wedding backdrop, and it's ready-made. I'll order a handmade suit for you. Justin was about to cry, Carlin, I'm not gay. He and I are just friends, how can you treat me like this? I was scolding Justin to death, and Henry happened to come looking for me. Justin ran away as if he had seen a savior, and was very careful not to make eye contact with him in order to avoid being mistaken for being gay. I was still mad and hadn't finished yet, so I motioned for Henry to follow me into the conference room and continued to rant at him. What do you mean today? What else can I mean, huh? Henry sat on the sofa and took out a cigarette. When he came to his senses, he didn't dare to light it. He just played with it between his fingertips. We have been together for so many years, shouldn't you give me a promise? What promise? We haven't even been in a relationship yet, why fast forward to marriage? You've never been in love before? Henry's hand holding the cigarette trembled slightly. Then what's the point of all these years together? I cook for you, I drive you wherever you go, I accompany you everywhere. 2 years ago, your father was hospitalized for surgery and you couldn't come back from abroad. I stayed with your father in the hospital day and night. Then I haven't given anything to you, huh? I asked back, I bought your Harley, I bought your watch, suit and leather shoes, but I also picked them out. Whenever I go out, I always bring you gifts. You said you wanted a cup of milk tea for the first time in autumn, so I ordered hundreds of cups and sent them to your company, so that everyone from top to bottom could have one. Whatever you wanted, I would get it for you right away. Am I not considerate enough? Henry calmed down a bit, but was still disappointed. Listen to yourself, you act like a scumbag. I was just your second choice. Are you blaming me? I folded my arms. Henry, I consider you a very good friend. I am a very generous person and I am willing to give to my friends. Henry turned his head away, There are no friends between opposite sexes. Okay. I treat you as a friend, but you want to sleep with me? I grabbed the slippers and threw them on his custom-made suit. Henry's father died early, and Henry inherited the family business very early. His mother was very spoiled, so he never got beaten in his life. When I hit him with the slippers, he was stunned and curled up subconsciously. I immediately took off the other slipper and held it in my hand, pacing angrily on the wooden floor. Okay, since you said that, let me tell you why I have only considered you a friend for all these years and have never had any desire for you. Do you still remember how we met? You are Lucy's classmate, let's have dinner together. Henry avoided the question. And then? You offer me $300,000 to be your lover because I look like your first love. I slammed my slippers on the table. Do you think I would be willing to marry you after such a start? Are you crazy? Henry's eyes flashed with guilt. That was in the past. I didn't know you at that time, and we quickly resolved the misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? Oh, come on. I sneered. From the day you asked, you have no chance with me. Why? Because this incident exposed your low character. Too bad. A man said he had a lover with a female college student? He took me home to sleep with me on the first day we met. You don't abide by male ethics. Henry sat up straight immediately. I don't admit what you said. That was my first time. I had never been in love before, nor had a lover, and I haven't had one since then. Others go out for social events with female companions, but as long as you are free, I will definitely call you, or my male secretary will accompany you. I am definitely the most virtuous man in the whole city. As for why I made such unreasonable demands on you when we first met, it's because you. When I saw you, I knew that I was destined to be with you. Even if I speak with a low EQ, act a little extreme, and act a little coercively towards you, my love for you is sincere, and you must admit that. I was shocked and looked him up and down. Henry, you have made some progress. He can say sweet words. If I hadn't read the original, I would have believed it. I threw away my slippers and sat on the chair. What you said now sounds nice, but I know that if I hadn't climbed up in the past 3 years and remained that penniless female college student, I would be your bird in a cage. Not to mention love, you wouldn't even respect me. Gab. That's what happened. I've read the script, okay? What I hate most is this: you insulted me by asking me to be your mistress and lover, even though I'm poor. This makes me think you're vulgar, dissolute, not very kind, even vicious. It also makes your love for me today very purposeful. Do you understand? Entering into this deep level of spiritual communication, Henry stopped talking. This was something he had never thought about before. Because he is a man who controls a lot of resources. In the jungle of society, he has always been in a high position and he never needs to bow down to the common people. All society requires of him is to win and continually gain more social resources. Then as a woman, as long as I can win his love, I win. This set of rules of the game is very distorted. What I value is not your preference for me. What I care about is how you treat those who are not as well off as you when you have achieved wealth and status. This is the embodiment of your character. We are all rich and powerful now, but what's so great about that? I pointed at the hotel lady walking by the window. Our personalities are no different from the ant outside. We are all equal. But in your heart, in the heart of your whole family, you are all high and mighty, and you can crush and trample on others. Why did Lucy bully me in school? Because she could. She has never apologized to me to this day. It's not preference, but character that gives me a sense of security. I instilled so many new ideas in him that when I left, Henry was still digesting them on his own. I went home and opened Jane Eyre and sent him the famous line. Do you think that because I am poor, humble, ugly, and short, I have no soul and no heart? You are wrong. My soul is the same as yours, and my heart is exactly the same as yours. If God had given me wealth and beauty, I would have made it as difficult for you to leave me as it is for me to leave you now. When I speak to you now, it is my spirit speaking to your spirit, as if both had passed through the grave and we stand at the feet of God, equal, because we are equal. I told him, this is a book written in 1847. This was the voice of a woman more than 200 years ago. And now it is the 21st century. For nearly 200 years, these men have never heard the cries from the depths of our women's hearts. After this incident, for a while, people privately laughed at Henry for being my simp man. At a dinner party, an older man even advised him not to care so much about a woman, saying that I was too strong and powerful, and that women should look for obedient men. With his conditions, he could just change to a beautiful female internet celebrity every month, otherwise what is the point of struggling? Henry's answer was that he admired me very much. I was very important to him and he didn't want me to look down on him anymore. Be a good person before doing anything else, he told the boss. People think he is very aloof and pretentious. But it doesn't matter, because he is the party A anyway. The boss will complain about him secretly, but will openly arrange the dinner in a tea house, where they will drink tea and eat skewers and live a healthy life like middle-aged and elderly people. A few months passed like this, and the 3-year period was up. Our heroine Julia returned to her country. I got the news from Justin, and it was the first time. A few of us old friends are planning to invite her to dinner. Do you want to come? I felt very strange. You were just meeting old friends, why are you looking for me? Because you are also our old friend. How can we not invite you to dinner? Justin laughed on the other end of the phone. Anyway, we'll let you know. It doesn't matter whether you come or not. I felt a little weird, but I went anyway, because I really like to join in the fun and see what my fate will be like after I change the world line. When I arrived, everyone was there except Henry. Where is he? Is he in a meeting? I recalled, and he didn't have any important plans for today. Then how dare he come, what you said? Justin winked at me. He's not coming, so you asked me to come? I didn't know you could really come. I just wanted to let you know. I can't hide this from you. It would be so embarrassing if you found out. Justin said bitterly. It seems that these people are racking their brains to solve the issue of the protagonist's first love returning to China, and they don't know how to arrange it appropriately. I think it's quite funny. I can feel that everyone is helping Henry to avoid suspicion. It is really different from the original work. When Julia came in, I looked at her facial features carefully. Our facial features are indeed somewhat similar, but although our looks may be similar, our temperaments are completely different. I am the type of person who, no matter what the occasion, doesn't think that others can be like me, let alone that I am like her. I always have this clear awareness, probably because I am particularly arrogant. Julia, on the other hand, was a little restrained. This is Carlin. Lucy sat on my other side and held my arm nicely, showing that we were good friends. Julia, we always told Carlin that you look a lot like her. Julia was a little embarrassed, just like Carlin in the original film, who was sitting at this table and was said to be a stand-in. All beauties are similar, with 3 parts of the face and 5 eyes. I clinked glasses with her, and she was visibly relieved. There was no drama happening at this table, just everyone chatting. Julia and I had never met before, but I was used to business trips, so I prepared a little gift for her, which was a pearl brooch with a classic style. Later, when the men got drunk, she changed chairs and came over to talk to me for a while, and we all got to know each other. In fact, I know a little about her situation. Her family went bankrupt, and then this artistic daughter returned to China to work and pay off her debts, with fatigue visible in her brows. Have you found a job yet? Justin arranged a job for me to manage a hotel owned by his family. I said that was great, added her on WeChat, and then everything ended peacefully. As we walked out, Henry's Bentley Lucy was parked outside and its lights flashed. I sat in the passenger seat, and Julia greeted him from the car window. Henry, why didn't you come today? Too busy. Henry lied with his eyes wide open, it's the same if Carlin comes. You're so busy now, but you still made a special trip here? You've worked so hard. Julia said politely. It's after 11 o'clock, so we must pick you up. Henry said. When Julia saw us driving away, she looked obviously a little lonely, and also a little envious. I sent a WeChat message to Justin to ask him to give her a ride. After doing this, I glanced at Henry and said, "You are very nervous." He probably asked Justin to report the matter to me, and then he stayed away from it. He didn't expect that I would actually come to see Julia. Henry held the steering wheel and looked straight ahead. I'm basically going to collapse. It's really good that you can handle such a complicated emotional entanglement like this. What do you mean by "it's the same if I come"? I gave her a gift, and you turned around and said I was representing you. Are you taking advantage of my favor for free? Yes, I often go out to ruin your reputation. I curled the corners of my lips. Julia did not stay in this city and quickly went to Justin's hotel to take up her post, which was a very far city. Less than half a year later, they got married. I was totally unbelievable when I received the invitation, but when I think about how Julia is eager to get promoted and make money, and how Justin is a womanizer, and how he always speaks for Julia in the original work and is also a simp man, this development is not surprising. Henry was invited to be the best man, and Julia also invited me to be the bridesmaid. She talked to me quite a lot in the past 6 months, saying that she really didn't have many friends. Lucy and her gang were quite snobbish and didn't think much of her because her family had fallen on hard times. Maybe I am the only one in her circle of friends who treats her kindly. The wedding was lavish, and after they got married, Julia gave birth to a daughter. One day she suddenly called me and told me, crying, that she couldn't go on anymore and wanted a divorce. It turned out that her family had fallen on hard times, and she had no status in Justin's family. No matter how hard she tried to serve his parents-in-law, she was not well received. Justin even cheated on her during her pregnancy. She would make a fuss at first, but she would get beaten for it. She wanted to have a son to inherit Justin's family business, but she ended up giving birth to a daughter. Justin didn't even get a marriage certificate with her, and spent every day drinking and partying outside. No one took care of her during her confinement. Moreover, her family didn't pay off her family's debts and kept a strict control over money. I had guessed this result. Then bring your daughter over. I have a lot of empty houses. You can pick anyone you like. She was stunned for a while. Carlin, I'm just complaining to you, what else can I do? Hey, in my situation, what should I do without him? How can I raise my daughter? Don't you know how to go out and earn money? I'll hire a confinement nanny to take care of your child. When you make money in the future, just pay me back the rent and the confinement nanny. I may never be able to pay it back in my lifetime. I also can't find a job. It's hard to find a job outside. Lucy's agent wants to quit these days, you come over to replace her. She kept trying to make excuses for me, repeating the same few words over and over again, crying that divorce was not good, that she couldn't work, and that she couldn't support the children. I booked a ticket and flew there directly, and chatted with her for the whole afternoon. Do you know why you ended up in this situation? Because you put your hopes on a man, thinking that everything would be fine with a man, but there is no such good thing in the world. You married into his family, and it seems like you became a rich wife, but you don't earn a penny from giving birth to children, doing housework, and managing household affairs. My nanny earns 200,000 yuan a year including bonuses. How dare I hit or scold her? She is the only one who can scold me. But I'm really not sure if I can do it well. I've never worked in society before. Outside is a jungle, but here is hell. In hell, you have no dignity or value as a human being. At that moment, her eyes were obviously touched. I didn't say anything more to her. After entering the house, I said that I wanted to take her and her daughter to travel to our place. Justin's parents have known me for a long time. They were very polite to me and didn't want to bother with this daughter-in-law. They agreed to my request easily. She packed everything into just one suitcase and flew back with my daughter that same day. I settled her in a house, found a nanny to take care of the children, and asked my agent to come and talk to her about work and help her get familiar with the business. She started working at the company the next day. Late that night, Julia sent me a WeChat message. Yesterday I thought my life would be like this, and I was so desperate that I wanted to commit suicide with my daughter in my arms. I didn't expect that the next day I would become a completely different person. I replied to her with a passage from the second sex. It is a man's great good fortune that he must tread a very difficult path, both in his manhood and in his childhood, but it is the surest one. The misfortune of woman is that she is surrounded by almost irresistible temptations. She is not asked to strive upward, but is encouraged to slide down to bliss. When she finds out that she has been fooled, it is too late, because her strength has been exhausted in the adventure. Julia knew she had no way out, so she worked very hard and studied very attentively, and helped me take over after my agent left. Julia and Lucy, the bestie in the original work, tortured each other for a while. Later, Because Lucy was too arrogant and domineering and had a bad reputation, Julia took the initiative and finally didn't have to suffer at her hands. I taught her seriously for a year and handed the company over to her, helping her achieve financial freedom. Her daughter calls me godmother. Henry found out about us only much later. He was shocked and panicked. But later he realized that we were really doing business together and it had nothing to do with him and he was not interested in it at all. Only then did he feel relieved. But he never dared to meet Julia for dinner. The only time they talked on the phone was when Julia came to me to discuss the contract. After he picked up the phone, she immediately said, "How can you touch someone else's phone like that?" Henry was furious. Why can't I answer her phone? Julia's perception of him has since become that guy, and like all besties in the world, she feels that he is not worthy of me. Besides, Justin saw that Julia was living a good life after leaving and had become a radiant and competent woman, so he came back to pester her. Julia said, "I'm very busy. Please make an appointment with my assistant." I didn't expect Julia's schedule to be scheduled for 2 years later. Justin made a scene at the company and at her house, but since there was no marriage certificate, it wasn't considered a family dispute, so he was arrested and detained. On the day he came out, Henry scolded him, saying that he was a jerk in this matter, of low character, and not like a man. After that, he became much more obedient. Justin was afraid that Henry would ignore him, which was a bit gay. I told Julia, "You are truly God's chosen one. You are destined not to have a marriage certificate, nor to have a cool-off period for divorce. You should give birth to a daughter before starting your career." Julia is now optimistic about the matter. Although Justin is not a good person, my daughter is beautiful and smart. The only good thing about Justin is his ex-gene. Later, Julia started dating a young celebrity in our company. She praised him, he won the Best Actor award, and cried and said he would help her raise the child, otherwise he would terminate the contract. I said, "Let's get together quickly and don't terminate the contract, otherwise my financial report next year will be very ugly." The two of them started living together. When Henry found out about this, he became so jealous that he became deformed. Why am I still just a boyfriend until now? Am I not worthy of marrying you? We're just living together. We don't live together. Henry said, feeling more and more aggrieved. Why is it like this? I really don't feel safe with you like this. I'm busy and tired every day. I have to drive half an hour to find you when I get home. Sometimes you're not even here, and I don't know where you are or who you're with. You never even reply to my messages. Then you can come and live here. I feel like he's been a little anxious about this recently, probably because everyone is asking him when I will marry him, and he feels a lot of pressure seeing so many male stars in our company. After living together for a while, his mental state improved a little. One day, he asked me in bed when we were going to get married. I discussed this issue with him seriously. The marriage system is outdated and does not fit the current social situation, so many people do not get married. Isn't it better for us to do this? Then he actually cried. I don't care whether the marriage system is backward or not, I just want to get married. I feel like you don't care about me at all and don't consider my feelings. No matter what, we have been together for 10 years, 10 years. I am still just your boyfriend outside. Carlin, you said you would do your best to satisfy whatever I want, so I just want that marriage certificate. I thought about it later and decided, okay, it doesn't matter. Although I am not a very moral person and don't really want to take on family responsibilities, I started dating Henry simply because I felt he was very good in bed and it would be nice to sleep with him occasionally. But he suffered a lot of mental torture because of my indifferent attitude, and I feel guilty about him. Moreover, he has also improved in the past few years. He is completely different from the original work. He is much more well-mannered in dealing with people and things. Not only is he a normal person, but he is also much higher than the standard of normal people. His character is basically one of the best among the men I have met. He is open to new things and looks at things from the perspective of women. He is completely different from ordinary men. Then I don't think it matters much. Anyway, we can get divorced if we don't get along well in the future. The law protects the wealthy, and I have no problem with property transfer. I am a very proactive person, so I took him to the Civil Affairs Bureau the next day. He took out the certificate and said to me very devoutly, "When I get sick and need surgery in the future, you can sign it." Aren't you afraid that I'll pull out your oxygen tube? You are such a murderous person that you want to kill your husband right after getting married. Henry shook his head. Now he would give me a moral lecture. Our wedding was very grand and lavish. I am totally unwilling to do this. But Henry insisted. I fell here, and I will stand up here. I must make a big fuss and tell everyone that I, Henry, finally got you. There's no need to be so modest. I feel embarrassed. You're my husband in the legal sense now. You can speak more firmly. Then I order you to sleep with me tonight. I was amused. But the fact is that getting married is really energy consuming. We are both in our 30s and don't have those worldly desires. That night we just leaned quietly on the garden chairs in the manor. Under the moonlight and the stars, he asked me very gently, "What are you thinking about?" I think it's pretty impressive that I've come this far. I changed the fate of almost all the characters in this story. I made everyone around me good people, whether they were sincere or not. I also did my best to help the evil female supporting characters who were trapped in a dead end, without hurting them in the slightest, even if I could have hurt them. That's natural. Henry nodded. What do you want to do in the future? I thought about it. I hope there will be no more tragic romance novels in this world. I hope all women go out into the world and fight bravely. I hope everyone can recognize the value of housework and motherhood. Henry looked at me for a long time and couldn't help but whispered, I'm really fooled by you. He is my believer. End.